Hello and welcome to the Queber channel. I am Jason, your host. I save the taxpayer, the government and the NHS a massive amount of money. I will never be able to work. I am classed as severely disabled. My last assessment was last year and this year's letter came last month. I get the disabled premium for severe disability. I didn't have to ask for it. They offered it me when they saw what was wrong. And over the past 6 years, every single review I've had, by the end of the review, the assessor has always sided with me and given me maximum points. I don't know whether that's a good or a bad thing, that I am so fucked up in the head, that I am so screwed up, that they will never even consider at the moment trying to get me to have a job. I have some very learned people that in my past, in 2019, helped me not end up as an end-of-life situation or permanent stay in a psychiatric assessment, adult assessment ward. Because those were the only choices available. We tried the medication, it didn't work. Different medication. We tried all the normal ways to get me back into work, the CBT, we tried everything. None of it worked until we decided to start using technology, virtual reality and everything else. I am not a functioning member of society. Outside of my safe space, which is this room, this house, and my mobility scooter, outside of that, I become completely non-functioning. Meeting strangers can cause me to go catatonic. I am not ever going to be a person who will be able to work from home or away from home. Because the moment you bring work into the situation, this is not a safe space anymore. So let's look at the numbers. I get PIP and related benefits. I don't get housing benefits, so my amounts of money are less than some and more than others. I get the severe disability premium, which is an extra bit on top, but I don't get housing benefit because I live in my own house and I don't rent. I don't get high rate mobility, although that may change. I had to buy my mobility scooter myself by selling stuff in the house, and I'm so glad I did, because for 5 years I basically only left the house to have CT scans. When they put this new category system through that removes me from PIP, and it will remove me from PIP because I don't score 4 points in any section of the list. I score 3 points and 2 points. In total, for the old system, I'm classed as severely disabled. The new way they are going to calculate it is purely so that they can remove people and cost cut. I will not go from one day being amazingly disabled to the point where I can't function outside my house to, oh my God, I'll be able to go to work. No, that won't happen. It's just they're going to be judging me on a different category system, a worse category system, which everybody who's looked at the system says it doesn't work. It's going to put me in a situation where in 2026, if they review me in 2026, I will lose all of my benefits, and I will, well, they'll put me onto the path to work, and when I can't go for a face-to-face interview, when I can't go for job interviews, when I can't do any of the things, they will sanction me, and then they will remove me from benefits. I will lose everything. This is a fact. Now, at that point, I think the government, as crazy as it seems, hopes that we'll just fade away and die. Because the only other choice will be, I will end up in a NHS psychiatric ward. So let's look at the numbers, how much that's going to cost the taxpayer, and how much I've saved over the years. Because in 2019, before we set up the situation with PIP and using PIP and my benefits to be able to have technology that kept me focused and able to cope in this world, my only two options were to end my life or to go to a adult long stay psychiatric care ward. Until we started looking at outside the box options, my own psychiatric mental health with 40 years experience. I mean, this wasn't just an assessor or someone. This was someone who had been worked with specialists in autism, bipolar and all that for 40 years, read my medical files and looked me in the eye and said, how the fuck are you still alive? He literally used those words. How the fuck are you still alive? Because people with half what you've got, we've lost. I haven't been able to help. What is keeping you going? And that's when we started deciding that it was technology because of my affinity with my autism. That was my hook to try and stay alive. So at the moment I cost the taxpayer, the government, whoever you want to call it, £21,842 per year. And that's a bargain. That's a fucking bargain. Because the low end estimate is for a year is 144,000 if I am in a care home facility. High end cost would be more, is $250,000. Literally, I am costing 10% of what I would cost when they remove all the benefits that I have. So before you start to think that I'm using up all the money in that and thingy, think what's going to happen to me and everyone else who is using PIP to just about survive, to just about cope, to eke out a living, to be able to continue. And you will realise that we are offering you one hell of a fucking bargain. Yes, I wish I could work. Oh God, yes, I wish I could work. But my brain doesn't function most of the time. So this is Jason for the Queber channel. So when someone tries to tell you that being on PIP is using up the taxpayers' money, explain to them that if you weren't on PIP, you would probably be costing the NHS, the government, and local social services 10 times as much at least. And that would crucify the NHS. That would destroy social service. That would destroy emergency services, because you would have so many people in so much worse situation. This is Jason for the Quebec channel.